Hello, artisans of light. Another little quick video of a tool that I found to be very helpful to me in the last month or so. It's a tool that I found while I was going back and revisiting some of the images that I guess we all constantly do. And it's also turned out to be, as I've used the tool more, it has helped me compose better images to begin with because I have a better understanding of what is artistically pleasing in terms of line composition and placement of the subject. So a tool that helps you recover photos that you don't like to make better photos that you do like and take photos that you like and make them wonderful is a pretty good tool to have. Put together a little collection here and we'll walk through the process with an image that I never did like and show you how I used this tool to get it to some place that maybe it's passable, an image that I really do like, and it helped inform me why I like it, and then an image that I've worked 100 times that I think has refined the vision that I've put together on that image. So let's start. This is a picture that we took, or that I took, when we visited the Jester King Brewery in Austin, Texas. Make it a little bit, I can get it out of the way here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Lost it. There we go. Go away menu. Now, as Chris Rand knows, I like low and wide, and here's a low and wide shot. I blame the fact that I didn't have a Sony as that I wasn't able to compose it as well because I didn't have the little tilty screen, but I never did like this image. Here's what I found. In the Tools menu, let me get the crop tool up so we can see it. In the Tools menu, there's a crop overlay guide, and there's thirds, there's a grid, there's diagonal, triangle, golden mean, golden spiral, aspect ratios. Now, for the purposes of composition, you can choose the overlays that you want to cycle through. The straight grid probably not going to help you because it's just got lots of lines in it, and the aspect ratios, while it might be helpful for printing to see which aspect ratio you're looking at, I don't use it as a cycle. Just to show you that aspect ratio, that and it is kind of helpful if you're going to go print something. You can see, you can 16 by 9, 2 by 3, 1 by 1, 4 by 5, 5 by 7, so that you can see what the final image is going to be in an aspect ratio, which is kind of helpful. But the other thing that you can do, if you choose the overlays to cycle, is that you can also, while we're talking about aspect ratios, you can choose the aspect ratios you want to see. 16 by 10, 4 by 3, whichever ones you want to see. So it'll put those aspect ratios on your photo when you're looking at aspect ratios. Anyway, you can cycle through the grids with the O is the shortcut key, and Shift O changes the aspect or changes the orientation. So here, if we change the orientation, there's now 16 by 9. It changes the orientation. So for the purposes of fixing a bad photo or understanding why you like a current photo, let's go cycle through these tools and talk about what I discovered. I never did like this picture, just didn't like it. If you put the rule of thirds in here, nothing really fits in thirds. And if you drag it around to get the Jester King in the third, that third, it cuts the building off. It just doesn't work for me. Shot it loose, but I really couldn't ever find a way that I liked it. Cycle through the next one. This is the diagonals. There really are no diagonal lines that fit any of the diagonal lines, so that's probably not appropriate. Triangles, not so bad. If we change the orientation on it and maybe get to that, we're still not fitting much that fits with those triangles. If we move it here and we put this focal point on, none of the lines over here really match up. Not so much. Don't like it. Let's get it back out to where we started. This is the golden ratio, which if you've watched Luke Ballard's discussion, he talks about the golden ratio. I won't go into it here, but it's a little tighter than the rule of thirds. Again, moving around, it's horizontals and verticals, and it really doesn't fit the picture. But what I discovered is that this golden spiral, and let's change the orientation, that's the Shift O, to where we're trying to get the focal point down in here, and this is align the golden spiral to get there. So let's start moving it up. And if we get that golden spiral, unlock our aspect ratio here, and kind of put that golden spiral in the center of that subject, which is kind of the sign. I know it's out of focus, and I'm sorry, I didn't have the Sony. That's all there is to it. You see that this one fits a little bit better in the weight of the picture and can spiral your eye in there. You really don't lose as much of the building. It minimizes this ugly corner down here. The trees and the bushes and circling up to there. Wow, just by looking at crop overlay, I ended up with a crop that is much more pleasing to my eye than I was able to determine by just dragging the things around. In other words, the tool informed the decisions that I was making to crop this image. This was the first one that I used it on. Now, I ended up not liking the picture because it's the focus on the Jester King sign is not real good. But at least I have something to start with, and being able to use those overlays got me from a picture that I really didn't like to one that I generally did. So let's go to the second image, one that I really did like. And this is where using this tool has started inspiring my composition in camera, so I'm getting better at it. This is the picture that I took for the portrait challenge of Cindy, and if you put a crop guide on it, and this is out of camera, we'll talk about golden spiral here in a minute, but as you can see, I really composed it on thirds, and I put her eye near that third, and that was the composition out of camera that I was looking for. If we start cycling through the overlays, look at this overlay and how her body lines up along the overlay, and the tilt of her head lines up just on that overlay. Wow, it's artistically pleasing in the rule of thirds. It's artistically pleasing in the diagonals. If we go to triangles, again, we've got this line that she lies right along that line, and her eyes near that point of focus on this one. So all of a sudden, here we are with 2 out of 3 of the crop guides that are lining up with the picture. In the case of the golden mean, not so much. If we move that golden mean so that we can get her eye near the golden mean, it ends up cutting her hand off. So don't like that one so much. But it's still the center of her face is in the golden mean, which is that point of focus that we like aesthetically. If we look at the golden spiral, and we can change the orientation of it so that we're moving towards the focal point. If we start cropping to get the golden spiral in there, you can see it might follow the golden spiral a little bit. In other words, we've got a point of entry coming here up her arm and around, and then spinning around. So conceivably, it's close to that. Now, I know that Scott may get the vapors, but it's vertical now, but you can also maybe twist it a little bit and fit those body angles to the golden spiral a little bit better. Wow, look at that. The idea here is that as I went through this image that I really liked, from the in-camera image on through, as I went through the different cropping options that I had artistically, you can see that multiple versions of what's artistically pleasing for a crop closely aligned to the way the picture was taken. Hey, there's a key learning. Maybe we can figure out how to use that so that we're making those decisions in camera. So in the first case, I had a picture that I didn't like. I used the overlays to find something that I really did. Here in the second, a picture that I really liked, I was able to find out why I liked it. It showed me those crop overlays that are artistically or aesthetically pleasing. If we go to the last image, this is the image that's one of my all-time favorites that I've taken. This is an HDR treatment of that image. Now if we go start cropping this image, we've got some options. Get the crop up. You're probably not going to, there's the diagonals. It's really not amenable to diagonals because there's not much that moves in a diagonal on this picture. Same thing with triangles. Here's the golden mean, which we'll talk about, and the golden spiral. Quickly, if we look at the golden spiral and get it to where we're looking at that spiral to get the spiral over the tree, we cut these clouds off. There's really nothing that follows that line. Our eye doesn't follow that line, so we're probably not there with that. We're left with thirds and golden mean. If we look at the golden mean, let's move it so that the tree is on our golden mean line there. Let me move it down a little bit. Let's unlock the aspect ratio so that we can move it around a little bit more. Move it down a little bit more and get that tree on the golden mean. It's a pretty panoramic picture. I really like it. It's not cutting the clouds off over here on the side. The other option that was close, let's cycle back through till we get to thirds. We can move that line over to thirds, move the picture to get that third in there. Let's get a little bit higher. Got the tree on the third now. That's pretty good too, but there's not much difference between the golden mean and the thirds. So one of the things you can do is make virtual copies. After you get one crop that you like and you get another crop that you like, right click on the image, create a virtual copy. If you create those virtual copies, as I've done here, I won't put you through that. See, I've got copy 1 and copy 2. This copy has that tree further in, a little bit less sky, which is the rule of thirds. The next copy is, this is the rule of thirds. This one is the golden mean. It puts the tree a little further in on the golden mean. So you've got two crops that you really like. Select those two. Either click the first one, shift click the second one, or control click one and after the other. And then use the survey mode, which shortcut key in, which puts the two pictures together. Do a shift tab to get rid of the menus. And there. You can compare those two easily, and what I found after doing it is I really like this panoramic view that golden mean gave me here. If you compare the original, let's go back out and we'll select the third one and put that back in survey. The original just doesn't do it, and by using those crop guides and playing with those crop guides, what I found was, that original, let me go back and reset that original. It's still in the, I'm running a little slow today. Bear with me and my computer. I've got a couple of things open and I'm recording a video. If we reset that to normal, there we go. There we go. Now we'll be able to compare them. Get those three and put them in survey mode. This original image, although I really like it, and I have always liked it, all this sky doesn't do much for me. And after I look at the other crops, I figure that out. But the crops help me to understand why. And using those crop guides for what's aesthetically pleasing helps me to understand why, and hopefully will help me take a better picture next time, or at least move that tree into the golden ratio or a little bit inside that third to help me take a better picture the next time I take the picture. So we took a picture that I really don't like, a picture that I really do like, a picture that I really do like, and made it a picture that I love, all by using those crop guides. Now, if you're not a Lightroom person, if you go into Photoshop, you've got the same opportunity to use the tools in Photoshop that you do in Lightroom. I've selected the crop tool. Here we are, the rule of thirds, grid, diagonal, triangle, golden ratio, golden spiral. You can cycle the overlay with O, cycle the orientation with Shift O, and do the same thing if you work primarily in Photoshop. Since I work primarily in Lightroom when I'm doing cropping, that's the way I started it. So there's a tool, there's something that you can use that'll either take a picture that you don't like and make it a picture that's better, help you understand why you like a picture that you do like, and take one that you do like and make it wonderful. If it helps, send me a note. If it doesn't help, at least thanks for watching. Holler if you have questions. Thanks.